All right, hey guys, how you doing? John Tubiolo here, right? Just wanted to go over a few things. I just had a conversation with a guy about this thing, and I know this has been going on the internet. There's a lot of guys out there talking about it, but whether you should, if you conceal carry, right, or you carry, open carry, conceal carry, whether you should have a round in the chamber and or one in the barrel. I'm a big believer that you should, right? I think you should have one. Again, everybody knows that I'm a big gun guy. I've been, around guns all my life, but I do think that you should always have a round chambered ready to go. The weapon is always on safe on a Glock. The safety is right here on the trigger. So unless I depress that trigger, the round's not going off. So I don't have any problem carrying one in the chamber, one down the barrel, one in the pipe. I just think you should. I mean, the time it takes you to draw the weapon, rack the weapon, and then present the weapon, I think that's just an added step. It's an extra step that I think takes too much time. So I am a huge advocate for carrying one chambered on a single stack like this. And the Glock 43, you get 6-round capacity in the magazine. So having one round in the chambered gives me an extra round, right? So I got to go from 6-round capacity to 7-round capacity. So I always carry one in the chamber. So, I mean, that's just my 2 cents. What if you're injured? Obviously if I'm drawing this weapon, somebody comes up to me and shoots me, maybe, hits me in the shoulder or something like that, or hits me in the arm, or I'm injured, or for some reason I lose the capacity of one arm, to pull this weapon and try to rack this weapon with one hand, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I mean, if you carry, you should be ready to pull that weapon and fire that weapon. So to me, it just makes sense to carry one in the chamber. I mean, it just, if you're scared to carry, a weapon that's loaded with one ready to go, I mean, I get that. People say, they're afraid of an accidental discharge. Again, I mean, dropping this weapon, smacking this weapon is not going to make this weapon fire unless I pull the trigger. This is the safety, right? The reason I like the Glock 43 is because in any weapon that really has the safety in the trigger, because again, depressing the safety, manually depressing the safety in order to, to fire the weapon. I mean, look, when your life is in danger, guys, you have seconds to make a decision, right? To me, to pull that weapon and present that weapon is, to me, is in the ready, right? I don't want to have to think about taking a safety off. I just put my finger on that trigger and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to rock. So again, I get the argument on both sides. A lot of people, they're very, very afraid of an accidental discharge. I mean, one of the reasons, and I talked about this before, I carry this Kydex holster, right? It has a trigger guard on it. It protects the trigger for anybody. Just, I can't just pull the trigger when this is in my waist. And this is set up for an appendix carry. I mean, it's not going to go off. I mean, there's nothing you can do to make this weapon discharge. You can't pull the trigger when it's in the holster. So, but I get it. I think a lot of times people too, when they draw a weapon, instead of pulling that weapon out and having their finger next to or on top of the trigger, right, in the trigger guard, they pull the weapon with their finger right in it. If you're pulling this weapon, right, and you've got your finger down here and it goes right to the trigger, you're probably gonna have an accidental discharge because you're gonna pull that trigger to make this weapon go off. But when I pull the weapon, my finger is always above the trigger guard, right? It's not in this area right here. If I put my finger on this trigger, I'm gonna shoot. I'm gonna use it. right? And it's really, really quick, right? To go from here, right? Present that weapon, go from here to here, and discharge that weapon. It's that fast. Did you guys hear that? It's that fast. So if I pull this weapon, right? My finger's up here above the trigger, right? And I present this weapon, my finger's still above the trigger. For me to go down and pull that trigger, it's that fast. It's that fast. I don't have to pull it out, put my finger on the trigger, you know. So I think a lot of the accidental discharges that happen are just people that don't have enough training with a firearm. I just recommend you go out and you train correctly, right? Just training isn't enough. It's about doing things the right way each and every time. So you want to prevent accidental discharge, keep your finger off the trigger unless you're ready to pull it. Unless you're ready to squeeze that trigger, don't put your finger on the trigger. So, you know, so even presenting this weapon, right? When you come from here and you present the weapon, right? You bring it up, you're ready, and you present the weapon, keep your finger above the trigger. You don't have to go, you know, you can go down along the side of it, but it's not on the trigger. That's on the trigger, right? So you present the weapon, and then you go to the trigger, fire the weapon, pull your finger up off the weapon, bring it back. Now you're ready to go, right? So you present the weapon, always present the weapon, fingers up here. And again, if I slide this down to go to the trigger, I'm ready. It's already, I'm locked and loaded, ready to go, right? And yes, I am left eye dominant. So when I shoot, it's, you know, I shoot left eye dominant. So I, you know, but again, I think you should have one in the 1 round chamber, right? So that's my 2 cents. Take it or leave it, do what you want with it. But anyway, have fun, be safe, and train correctly. That's my advice to you. Thanks for watching. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.